What is up, YouTube? This is the Iconoclast 321 coming back at you guys again with another challenge. This is count 'em, three copies of Starter Deck Codebreaker. And today I'm going to show you guys how to make the best Cybers build of this deck. Without further ado, let's rock it! Now, as you guys know, Cybers is one of the best decks for beginners in Yu-Gi-Oh! But also one of the best decks in general, as it has a lot of support to it. And in this deck variant, this is more of a swarming and beatdown variant. This has 15 extra deck cards, 40 cards, all from 3 copies of the Codebreaker Starter Deck. And in total, you guys spend about $30 on this, and this is a great deck to bring into locals, or possibly even into higher up tournaments. And today, I'm going to show you guys how to make it. So kicking things off for us, we're going to start off with 2 copies of our boy, Ram Clouder. He is the GOAT for a reason. But seriously though, he has an awesome effect that if you contribute 1 monster on the field, you can target 1 Cybers monster in your graveyard and special summon it. It is a hard once per turn. However, you don't have to use specifically Cyber monsters to tribute it in order to get a Cybers monster back on the field. I'll explain that more in due time. Right now, we're going to 3 copies of Backup Secretary. This is your free special summon as long as you have a Cybers monster on the field. And since this is a pure Cybers build, that shouldn't be hard to do whatsoever. Free body on board, helps you link climb, and in general, it's just a great play in this deck. Here we have 3 copies of Link Slayer. If you control no monsters on your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. He also has an effect that you can discard up to 2 cards and then target that many spell or trap cards and destroy them. So he's removal, and he's also a free body on board if you don't have anything. Awesome. Coming in next, we have 3 copies of Leotron. This is our normal monster of the deck. He's a 2000 beat stick with 0 defense, and he's going to help us get into our Link Spider plays, which is very important in this deck. We also have 3 copies of our boy Widget Kid. Now, Widget Kid is that kid, because guess what? Whether you normal or special summon him, you can then special summon 1 Cybers monster from your hand in defense position. Again, helps you get into your link climbing strategies, and overall is a pretty good monster to have in general. Finally, we are into our 3 copies of Cybers White Hat. To special summon this card, you only really need 2 Cybers monsters on the field. And as a bonus, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a link material, all your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack points, which is very good as it will help you into that swarming and beatdown strategy as well. On to our spells and traps. Our 1-up we play in the deck is Monster Reborn. This is limited as I'm recording this, but it has an awesome effect of targeting 1 monster in either player's graveyard and special summoning it to your side of the field. Very good, understandably it's at 1 for a good reason. Next up, going into it, we play 3 copies of our Mystical Space Typhoon. This is our spell and trap removal of the deck as well. We can't always rely on Link Slayer to do it, so we have to do it ourselves with this card. Simply put, it targets 1 spell or trap card on the field and destroys it. Of course, we know it does not negate, but still, it's a very good removal card at that in this deck. Another removal card we play at 3 in the deck is Dark Hole, which simply says destroy all monsters on the field. Obviously, if you're no monsters on your field and your opponent has a full board established, as long as they have no way to negate it out, this is your best bet. You're Raigekiing their field. Up next, we're playing 2 copies of Signet Recovery. This card, guys, is a brilliant add to this deck, because if a link monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can target 1 monster in your graveyard except a link monster and special summon it in defense position. While, yes, you can't get your link monster back that was destroyed, this does help in the fact that you guys will be able to gain advantage on the field, hopefully being able to start your link climbing once again. Next up, we're also going to play 2 copies of United We Stand. Again, this is a swarm/beatdown strategy, so you're going to need a lot of attack. And this card is going to help with that, because once this equipped monster gains 800 attack for each face-up monster on control. That means if you have your Decode Talker on the field and you have 2 monsters that point to him, that's a total of 3 monsters. Do some quick, simple, and easy math. That's 2,400 attack added on to his 2,300 body as is. And it also gets 500 for its attack because it points to each monster. That's a big number. That's going to hit over a lot of stuff. Next up, we have Scapegoat. This is also a go-to card because, simply put, you special summon 4 goat tokens to your field. You can't normal or special summon the turn you use it, but you can also normal set. That's not why we're using this. Obviously, this is going to help with Link Karibo, Link Spider, and obviously this is also going to be used for our tribute fodder for something like Ram Clouder, which is nice. Into the traps, we have 2 Signet regressions. This card says when you special summon a link monster, you can target 1 card in the field, destroy it, and then draw a card. This does in fact help you guys get your advantage back on deck. It draws you a card, gets rid of one of your opponent's cards, and activates after you have successfully link summoned. So in total, this is a good card advantage. Up next, we have 2 Mirror Force. If you guys have been in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Long enough, you already know what this card simply does. Basically, all you do is when your opponent declares an attack, destroy all their attack position monsters. Imagine a whole field of attack monsters waiting to hit you. Activate this, no response. You've got yourself a fully wide open board to hit for next game. Up here we have 2 copies of Compulsory Evacuation Device. You can target a monster on the field, pop it, and send it back to your opponent's hand. Easy removal, doesn't banish, doesn't destroy, so your opponent can't use that resource anymore. And if it was a once per turn kind of thing, then they have to wait till next turn for it. Coming in next, we have 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole. Any monster that is summoned with 1500 or more attack, destroy that monster, and if you do, banish it. This is great monster removal for those bigger boss monsters that your opponent is going to summon, and in total, I just think it's a great tech card in here. Finally, to make this 40, we add 2 copies of Call of the Haunted. This is simple. You can activate this by targeting a monster in your graveyard, special summoning it, and it equips that monster. Simply put, this helps once again with your link plays. And speaking of links, onto the extra deck. So going into our extra deck, we start off with 3 copies of Link Spider. It can only be used to summon by a normal monster, and once per turn, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower normal monster from your hand to the zone this card points to. Simply put, you're going to summon this with Leotron or your Scapegoat tokens, and then also summon Leotron into this as well. Go into another Link Spider, get 2 effect monsters, and go off with that. Speaking of Scapegoat tokens, we have 3 copies of Linkuriboh. Takes 1 level 1 monster to make, and once your opponent declares an attack, you can tribute this card, change the opponent monster's attack all the way down to 0. If this card is also in your graveyard, you can actually tribute one of your level 1 monsters and special summon it back. So it recurs itself. It can pop one of your goat tokens in order to summon itself back, or you can use it for goat tokens as well. So overall, it has a very nice effect to also drop your opponent's attack down to 0. Next, we're going into 3 copies of Pentatag. This is our link 2 of the deck, and he has the simple card reading of 2 effect monsters to be made, and if this link monster attacks a defense position monster, it deals piercing damage. So if your monster has a defense position, his life points are still not safe. Going into our link 3s, we have 3 copies of Decode Talker. You guys know what this big boy already does. He takes 2 plus effect monsters to summon, gains 500 attack for each monster it points to, and when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control, you can tribute 1 monster this card points to and negate the activation. If you do, destroy that. Technically, if you have this in the extra monster zone, you can actually tribute one of your own opponent's monsters to actually activate this effect. So, overall, good card tech. And finally, rounding out to 15, we have 3 copies of our Transcode Talker. Again, he also takes 2 plus effect monsters to summon, and he also has the effect that when it's co-linked and its co-linked monster gains 500 attack, also your opponent cannot target any of them with card effects. You can also use him to special summon any link 3 or lower link monster in your graveyard back to the zone it points to. So overall, guys, I think this deck is great. This helps beat down. It's got power. It's got storm ability. And with the right plays, you should be able to finish your opponent off within the first 2 to 3 turns of this deck. But I want to know what you guys think. If you guys enjoy this deck, let me know in the comments. And if you hate it, let me know why. If you guys did enjoy this video, I'm going to need you to decode destruct that like button, transcode annihilate that subscribe button, and as always, have a great day. Peace.